let's continue with section B.
Here is section B for the first time.
Okay, A minor, A minor. So we have to decide whether that E is going to be A minor as well. That sounded like a major. Put the alternatives in here. That's 1, that's a 4. Oh, okay.
Here is section B for the second time.
That one's a tricky one because it's got an F in it, but we can also have what's called a GBDF, which is what we call a dominant 7th or G7 chord. So that F can be quite deceptive. I think we could have put a GBD and another one. 5/7 chord is a 4-note chord, and I'm picking this because that was an A minor, and that's the one that goes from 5 to a 6. Remember what that was?
Here is section B for the third time.
That's our interrupted cadence. That's definitely major, and that's a G. So that's going, okay. So we have anything that finishes with a G, 5 is going to be, I'm trying to work out my cadences here. Okay. Right, so we decided that's not a minor. Okay. Right. Rather messy. Okay, let's go to the next part. Just do that. Final play.
The whole extract will now be played 3 times.
Let's check.
Here is the first playing.
Those were all identical, so I think I'm quite happy to put these as minor chords. And my major, my C chord, these are my C's. So if I just reference these, remember these chords, just lock in C. So I'm going to just listen for my C's, or chord 1s. You could hum it very quietly in your head. So that starts.
Here is the second playing.
As you'll see. Pretty happy with all my C's except for that one. Well, now I can't check my F's. Okay, just have to wing this one. I'm going to listen especially for that note, that chord there. But it can't be G. If it's G, it's going to be identical. And they wouldn't put 2 boxes like that.
And now, here is the third and final playing.
Okay. Well, that's the end of the play, isn't it? Wow. Okay, now I'm going to make a decision with my cadences. So here I have a cadence going from G to C, which is 5 to 1. That's going to be a perfect cadence. 5 to 1. Perfect. Remember this perfect cadence? Sounds finished. The next cadence, I've got F going to G. So that's going to 4 from a G, or 4 to 5. Now, forgot to mention that in perfect cadence, we have 1 to 5, but anything that goes to 5 is what we call imperfect cadence. It could go from 4 to 5, 6 to 5. Anything that ends on a chord 5 is an imperfect, so I'm going to put imperfect here. Now, you do not have to put in the Roman numerals, you just put in imperfect. Cadence 3, and that was the one that was going into A minor. So if you didn't know this one, you could probably guess it. Anything that's going to end with a 6, it's going to go from a 5. So we have 5 to 6 going. That's called interrupted. That's the one that ends on a minor chord instead of a major. That's the only one with a minor chord. Okay, so interrupted. If you don't know the spelling, they've given you. Okay, let's check the cadences. If we check the cadences, I think we'll have most of these chords. Okay, let's check the answers. Perfect, imperfect, interrupted. So all these cadences are correct. Now let's have a look. So I've got F to G. That's right, F to G. Just work my way. C, G, A minor. C, G, A minor. Oops. C, G, A minor. Okay. Got F, C, F, G. Oops. Okay. F, C, F, G. And then we've got C, G, C. C, G, C. So it looks like I was quite lucky with that one. I'm quite sure. Now, the reason why this is so challenging is because because of the bass clef. You've got the trombone acting sort of like the bass instrument. So when it plays these notes, it's sort of playing harmony, but it's also playing the melodies, and that's why this is so confusing, because when we listen to the harmony, we're listening for the bass line. But if the instrument is a bass instrument, the trombone is a bass instrument, it's sort of messing around with your ears. Instead of hearing root triads, you know, how we had the root, we're listening for that bass note there. We're actually listening to some other notes that are in the root. So this is not one of the easiest I've seen. But if if you can get these cadences, that's what's going to get you the marks. Okay, so let's have a look at the marking schedule. To get an excellence, identify all chords in 3 chord phrases with allowance for 2 errors overall. So you need to get 3 chord phrases. So where are the chord phrases? So that's a chord phrase. 3 chords in a row. You've got another chord phrase. It's a 4 in a row there. How many errors are you allowed to make? 2 errors overall. So if you didn't get this one right and that one right, you can still get an excellence. There's another chord phrase. But in excellence, you've got to get 2 of the 3 cadences correct and the associated chords. So you can't just wing it and go, oh, that's an interrupted and fluke it. You got to actually get these chords right. Okay? Because you got like 1 in 4 chance of getting it right. 4 cadences. Well, with the 3. So that's the marking. Now, for a merit, you need 3 pairs of adjacent chords. Adjacent are next to each other. So you got to get 3 pairs of the chords. So for example, you got to get these 2. You can't do this. You get this one right, can't get that one right, get this one right. You won't. These are not adjacent chords that are in pairs. That's a pair of chords you got right, but they're going to be right next to each other. So they're listening. They're wanting to know whether you can get things in a row. For achieved, you get 4 individual chords. So if you got that one right, that one right, that one right, and that one right, rest of them incorrect, you'll get an achieved. Okay, that's the marking schedule. And off we go to the last